Good morning, students, and welcome to statistics class. I am Tabassum Muhammad Sharif, and in the last class itself, we have started with the second unit of your syllabus, that is organization of data. We were discussing about types of data. There are two types of data. They are primary data and secondary data. Primary data is the data which is collected for the first time, and they are also called as first hand data. In this class, we are going to discuss about methods of collection of primary data. There are 5 methods of collection of primary data. They are direct personal observation, indirect oral interview, information through agencies, mailed questionnaires, and schedules sent through enumerators. In today's class, we are going to discuss about how the data is collected in all these methods, suitability of these methods, as well as merits and demerits of all the methods of collection of primary data. Let us discuss one by one. The first method of collection of primary data is direct personal observation. By seeing the name itself, we can come to know how the data is collected under this method. Here, the investigator extracts the required information by personal observation of the units. What happens is, the investigator himself or personally collects the information from the informants. Investigator is a person, one who conducts the statistical enquiry, whereas informant is a person from whom we are going to get the information. So here what happens is, the investigator personally collects the information from the informant. That's why direct personal observation. For example, I'll come to your class and I want the information regarding height, weight and blood group of students of your class. Then I'll go to each and every students and ask about their height, weight and blood group, and I'll record those information. Then it is called as direct personal observation. The investigator must be keen observer and he cross-examines the informant and records the necessary information. In this method, enumerator may collect biased information. However, the method is less costly when the field of enquiry is small. Now we will see the suitability of direct personal observation method. That means where we can adopt this method. The method is adopted in the following cases. First one is where greater accuracy is needed. While conducting the statistical enquiry, if you need a true or accurate information, then you can opt for this method, because investigator himself is going to collect the information from the informants. He directly observes the units of population and he collects the information. So whatever information is collected will be more accurate. Next, where the field of enquiry is not large. This method is suitable where the field of enquiry is small, because investigator is going to observe each and every unit of the population. If the population or if the field of enquiry is large, then units will be more and it will be very difficult to observe each and every unit if the field is large. So we can adopt this method if the field of inquiry is small, where confidential data are to be collected. See, confidential data is not provided to each and everyone. It is not disclosed. It will be given only to the trusted people. So if whatever information you are going to collect is of confidential type, then it is better to opt for this direct personal observation, because there will not be any middlemen in the collection of the information. Investigator directly meets the informants and collects the information. So confidentiality can be maintained. So it is suitable where confidential data are to be collected. Next, where sufficient time is available. As I have told you, it is suitable where the field of inquiry is small, because we are going to observe each and every unit of the population. So when you observe each and every unit of the population, you cannot complete this task in less time. It takes time. So if you have sufficient time, then you can adopt this direct personal observation method. Now, what are the advantages of conducting direct or opting this direct personal observation method? First merit is true and reliable data can be collected. So whatever data you are going to collect under this method will be true and it will be more reliable, because investigator himself has collected this information. So there is a less chance of obtaining false figures. So true and reliable data can be collected under direct personal observation method. Secondly, in this method, the degree of accuracy can be high. Here, whatever data you have collected will be more accurate than any other method. Personally, you are going to observe and you are going to obtain the information. That's why it will be more accurate. Third merit is uniformity and homogeneity can be maintained. In this method, investigator himself is going to collect the information. There will not be any middlemen. So one person is going to collect the information. So there will be a uniformity or homogeneity in the collection of the data. Now we will see the demerits of direct personal observation method. As each coin has two sides, likewise every method has its own merits and demerits. So we will see the first demerit is where the area is large, this method is not suitable. In the beginning itself I have told you that this method is suitable where the field of inquiry is small. If the field of inquiry is large, then there will be more units, and to observe all or each and every unit will be very difficult. So it is suitable where the area of inquiry is small. If the area of inquiry is large, then this method is not suitable. Secondly, this method is expensive and time consuming. Information will be collected by personally observing each and every unit of the population. So it will be very expensive and as well as time consuming method. Thirdly, an untrained investigator will not bring good result. Here investigator is going to collect the information. So if the investigator is not trained properly, if he is untrained, then he will not come to know what type of information is needed for conducting the statistical inquiry. So there is a chance of bringing unnecessary information or collecting the unnecessary information. So which will not give a good result. So untrained investigator will not bring a good result under this method. Now we will see the second method of collection of primary data, that is indirect oral interview. Under this method, the investigator approaches the witnesses or third parties who are in touch with the informant. If informant is not ready to give information, then how we are going to collect the information? Under direct personal observation, investigator directly goes to informants and collects. Suppose if informant himself is not ready to give the information, then how you can collect the data? Then you are going to collect the information from the witnesses or the third parties who know that informant and who are ready to give the information. So it is called as indirect oral interview. You are not directly going to the informant. You are going to ask the information with the witnesses or the third parties who know the informant. Persons who are supposed to have knowledge about the problem under investigation are interrogated and the desired information is collected. So the third person, one who knows information regarding the informant, will provide the necessary information, and by that way you are going to collect the information. That's why it is called as indirect oral interview. So where you can adopt this method? Suitability of indirect oral interview method. First one is where area to be studied is small. This method is also suitable where the field of enquiry is small, because here you are going to get the information from some other person. So if the area is very large, you can't find the third parties who are going to provide information regarding each and every unit of the population. So it is suitable where the area to be studied is very small. Secondly, it is used when direct information cannot be obtained. So if the informant is not ready to give the information, then this method can be adopted, because directly we can't get the information from the informant. So what you are going to do is you are going to get or collect the information from the third party. Now we will see what are the merits of this indirect oral interview method. First one is this method is simple and convenient, because you are going to ask with the person one who know about informant and you can collect the information. See, for example, I want information regarding your height, weight, etc. Now you people are at your home. Because of this corona cases, offline classes are not conducted. So now I can't come to your class and collect the information about height and weight. So what I'll do is I'll go to office, college office, and I can collect required information whatever is needed. From your admission form, I can get the required information about the students. So this is called as indirect oral interview. I am not directly contacting you and collecting the information. Indirectly I am collecting the information. This is called as indirect oral interview. Next, this method is free from bias and prejudice of the respondent. Here there will not be any bias in the collection of the information. Next, demerits of indirect oral interview. First one is interview with an improper man will spoil the result. That means if the third party from whom we are going to collect the information, if he is not giving the information properly, if he gives the false information, then it may spoil the result of the enquiry. Second demerit is witness may supply biased information according to their interest. In indirect oral interview, we are going to collect information from the witnesses. If the witness provides or supplies biased information, then whatever statistical enquiry you are going to conduct, it will be not successful. So the result cannot be reliable. That's why these are the demerits of indirect oral interview method. Now we will see the third method, that is information through agencies. What is this agency? Agency is a business or organization providing a particular service on behalf of another business, person or group. So they are like middlemen. So how you can get the information through agencies? Under this method, local agents or correspondents will be appointed. They collect the information and transmit it to the investigator. Agents who collect the information from the informants are generally called as correspondents. Here, in this method, investigators are not going to collect the information from the informants. Here what the investigators will do is, they will appoint one local agents for collecting the information. These local agents will collect the information on behalf of the investigator. They are called as correspondents. The agents who collect the information from the informants are called as correspondents. They may apply any method according to their intensity of the situation. There is no hard and fast rule that they have to apply a particular method for collection of information. They may apply any method depending on their suitability, and they'll collect the information and provide it to the investigator. Now we will see the suitability of information through agencies method, where we can adopt this method. This method can be adopted where information is to be obtained at a regular intervals from a wide area. You need information regarding the units of the population on a regular basis, on a continuous basis. Then you can adopt this information through agencies. Agencies will observe the units and they will provide the required information continuously or regularly to the investigator. So in such situation, it is better to opt this method. Now we will see what are the merits as well as demerits of this method. Merits are, first one is, this method is very cheap and economical, because you are going to appoint one person or agent, and agent will do the work and you are going to pay a fee for doing or for collecting the information. So it will be very cheap and it will be economical method of collection of primary data. Secondly, it is useful where information is needed regularly. Just now I have explained you in suitability. This method is suitable where you need a regular data. If you need a data regularly, if you need the information about the units on a regular basis, then this method is most useful. Now what are the demerits of information through agencies method? First one is, the information may be biased. Here what happens is, these agents or correspondents may manipulate the data as per their requirement. So the information whatever you are going to get is biased information. Second one is it is difficult to maintain the degree of accuracy and uniformity. Whatever data you are going to obtain from this method is not accurate because investigator has not collected these information. These informations are collected by some other person or business organization who have collected the information on behalf of the investigator. So we can't rely upon the data which is collected by these agents. So it is difficult to maintain the degree of accuracy and uniformity of information in the method of information through agencies. Now we will discuss the fourth method of collection of primary data, that is mailed questionnaire. Mailed questionnaire. What do you mean by questionnaire? Questionnaire is sent to the respondents who are expected to write the answers in the space provided in the questionnaire. In questionnaire, list of questions will be there and they have to give the answers for those questions in the space which is provided in the questionnaire. See, questionnaire is a list of questions where the answers are filled by the informants and these answers are the required information for the investigation. The questionnaire will be sent to the informants through mail. That's why it is called as mailed questionnaire method. Here you are not going to personally meet the informant and give the questionnaire. You are going to send the questionnaire through mail. A covering letter is also sent along with the questionnaire. When you are going to send the questionnaire, along with the questionnaire, you are going to send covering letter also. So what is this covering letter includes? Covering letter requests the informants to extend their full cooperation by giving the correct information and return the duly filled questionnaire within the fixed time. That's why a questionnaire is sent along with the covering letter and required information can be collected. So where we can adopt this method, mailed questionnaire method? This method is adopted where informants are spread over a wide area and are literate. If the informants are spread in different area, the time you can't visit each and every place where the informants are located and you can't get the information. So what you can do is you can prepare a questionnaire, that is list of questions from which you can obtain the information, and you can send this questionnaire through mail to those people and you can get the information. As well as it is suitable if the informants are literates because they should know to read and write. In questionnaires, list of questions will be there, so they should know to read those questions as well as to respond to those questions. They should know to write. So only literates informants can give information under this method. If the informants are illiterate, then this method cannot be adopted. Now we will see the merits as well as demerits of this method. First of all, we will see the merits of mailed questionnaire method. First one is this method is most economical. Here there will not be much expenses involved in collection of the information. Just you are going to prepare a letter, that is a covering letter and a questionnaire, and you are going to send it through mail. So it is not expensive, it is less expensive, or it is most economical method of collection of information. Secondly, it saves manpower. If the informants are spread over wide area, you have to send different persons for different locations and collect the information. So you need more manpower for collecting the information. But here under Mail questionnaire method, manpower, it saves manpower because one single person by sitting at one place can prepare the questionnaire and send it to different places through mail. So it saves manpower. Next, it can be widely used where the area of investigation is large. See, indirect personal observation as well as indirect oral interview method, the area of inquiry should be small. But here, this method can be adopted even where the area of inquiry is large. Even though the informants are spread in various places, they can send the questionnaire to their places and they can easily collect the information through questionnaires. So, it can be widely used where the area of investigation is large. Now, we will see what are the demerits of this method. First one is, this method cannot be used if the informants are illiterates. Already I have explained you that whoever is going to provide the information, they should be literate under this method to obtain the information, because here questions, list of questions will be there, and for that questions the informant should write the answers. So when you can answer those questions, if you know to read and write, then only you can answer this questionnaire. So this method cannot be used if the informants are illiterate. Next, in this method, many informants will be not respond. You are going to send the questionnaire through mail. Sometimes what happens is they may not read those mails, or sometimes they may neglect whatever mails you have sent. There is a chance of not responding. Next, in the case of non-response, follow-up work is essential. If at all, if the informants are not responding to your mail, then you have to do a follow-up work. That means you have to send the enumerators and you have to once again collect the information personally. So this method is not suitable if the informants are not responding. And the last method of collection of primary data is schedules sent through enumerators. It is widely used method of collection of primary data. A number of enumerators are selected and trained for this purpose. Here, the trained investigators collects the data through enumerators. The enumerator contact the informants and collect the information, which is called schedule method. Who are these enumerator? Enumerators are the person who collects the information for the investigator. Investigator will not observe the units personally under this schedules method. Here, schedules will be sent through the enumerators. What is this schedule? Schedule is a list of questions where the facts will be supplied by the informants and recorded by the enumerator. See, it is similar to questionnaire. In questionnaire also there will be list of questions, but the answers for those questions will be filled by the informants themselves. But here in schedules, the list of questions will be there. Informants are going to supply the information, but it will be recorded by the enumerator. So this is the difference between questionnaires and schedules. So schedules will be sent through the enumerators and informants will give the information and it will be recorded by the enumerator. Now we will see the merits of schedules sent through enumerators method. First one is, this method is very useful where the informants are illiterate. In questionnaire method, the informant should be literate because they have to write the answers themselves. But here, the list of questions will be there. Informants, if at all, if they are illiterate, they can provide the information orally and it will be recorded by the enumerators. So they need not be literate. Informants need not be literate under this method. So this method is useful where the informants are illiterate. Secondly, in this method the rate of non-response is less. In questionnaire method, rate of non-response is more because you are going to send the questionnaire through mail. But here the questionnaires or the schedules will be carried by the enumerators, and they are going to personally visit the informants and collect the information. That's why here the rate of non-response will be less. Now we will see the demerits of this method. First one is, in this method the training of enumerators is essential. Here enumerators must be well trained because enumerators are the persons who are going to collect the information under this method. So to get the required or proper information, enumerator must know what type of information is needed. That's why training of enumerator is essential. Secondly, this method is time consuming because enumerators personally meet the informant and record the information. Here investigator will not directly visit the informant, but investigators will send the enumerator on behalf of them to collect the information. So it will be time consuming. Thirdly, personal bias of enumerators may lead to failure of inquiry. Here enumerators are collecting the information and they may manipulate the information as per their requirement. So there is a chance of personal bias of the enumerators, and if there exists the bias in the collection of information, then whatever result you are going to get, it may go wrong. So there is the failure of inquiry under this method. I hope you have understood all the 5 methods of collection of primary data. In the next class, we will discuss in detail about questionnaire, how the questionnaire will be and what are the essential requirements of questionnaire and format of questionnaire. We will see in our upcoming classes.